want to move on to problem family members.
Right.
How do you deal with these people?
Right. I always think problem family members because they are.
And they tend to make you a little bit
edgy with each other.
Edgy, yes,
I
that's
think
the
it's
word,
because I think it's because that when they're problem family members, each couple, each person in the team tends to kind of take it personally. Like if my mother is being a problem to my partner, it kind of makes me feel like I'm a bad person because my mom's being
a little bit.
Bitch. So I think it's absolutely important, first and foremost, to set the intention that you two are a team, that you're approaching this festive season, together in a united front.
Okay.
And so that whatever's going to come your way, that you've got each other's backs, that you are on each other's team, that you're constantly communicating with what happens, that you agree with how things are going to go, and that if you're not going to agree, that you at least agree to disagree. Someone wanted to go to this place, to the beach for a holiday, someone wanted to go, whatever. Sort it out, be a team, go into the festive season as a team together.
Okay, that's tip 1. What's your next one?
2, plan together. Okay, so if you know what your strengths are, then play to them. So you've made a plan about where you want to go. You've got a working plan for how the holiday is going to work, how Christmas is going to work, who you're going to visit, what you're going to do, when you've got your time off. But it also means that you know where the potholes are. You know where the stresses are. You know where the weaknesses are. And so you prepare for that from the beginning. If you're going to go traveling and you hate driving, you're miserable at directions, then let your partner drive. Let them drive and do the directions. If you love taking the kids and you can look after them and your partner just needs some time off, then you take the kids and your partner takes them. You play to each other's weakness. You play to each other's strengths. You prepare for the weaknesses, and you make sure that you've got a working kind of plan for how the holiday is going to go.
Okay, that's tip number 1 and tip number 2, and now we are on tip number 3.
Plan together and then stand together. Okay, so
does that mean physically stand together?
Yes, like this the whole time. No. So if there are family members that you have problems with, agree up front with your partner. Remember, you're a team. Agree up front how they're going to be dealt with. Okay, if that means that you should not be left in a room alone with Auntie Stephanie, who always chews your ear off about how much you eat, then do not be in a room with her. And if she is your partner's auntie, then your partner has full right to step in and say, listen, Auntie, I would really appreciate it if you kept your opinions to yourself, because you can do that. You can set those boundaries for yourself. But I always think that it's kind of helpful if the family member that's attached to the family member that's giving you a problem has first shot at kind of going, listen, this is my partner. Please respect my choices. This is making us uncomfortable. Whatever the situation is. And plan up ahead how you're going to deal with those people. And it is your responsibility as the family member to approach it first and to stand up for your partner. To not get into like little conversations that's going to support your family members breaking down your partner, because that is going to cause a problem between you and your husband or your wife, your girlfriend, and that's what you don't want. You don't want to break up that team. It is you against bad family members, bad behavior, Christmas stresses, and kids that need to be sorted out.
All right, so that's number 3. We're on to number 4 now.
Yeah. Setting boundaries. Setting boundaries goes hand in hand with how you deal with family members. I find over the Christmas season, everybody kind of seems to follow an open door policy. So people want to drop in, they want to see you, 6 days out of the 7. And
they don't want to see you any other time in the year.
Right.
Why does everyone need to come over now?
And sometimes I think if I'm seeing you 5 days a week, do I need to see you on Christmas Eve and Christmas night and Christmas Day? And find out what your boundaries are. Decide with your partner how much you're willing to take of people knocking at your door and inviting themselves in, how much time you want to spend with family that you might not necessarily want to get along with, how much time you want to spend with each other. Decide what's going to work with you and set those boundaries up front and clearly. And that means letting your family members know that there is a closed door policy between these hours, and tea is anytime is okay for an hour on this day, you can set those boundaries. And the more you set those boundaries, the easier it becomes, and the easier it'll be for you to manage your space without it becoming this frenetic rush everywhere to see everyone all the time, 24 hours a day.
Oh, it's all sounding so easy when you say it. Now we're on to number 5. This is how you deal with those really bad relatives, and you just want to tell them how you feel.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut.
Your holidays will be better if you keep your mouth shut.
It doesn't mean that you need to go and seethe. And if you haven't, the points of like planning up front, the points of like forming a team with your partner, the points of being clear with family members about what is acceptable, not just with your time, but with what they say to you. The point of those boundaries is so that you don't have to sit and seethe when someone is stepping over your boundaries. They're bad-mouthing you, they're bad-mouthing you, they're being bitchy behind your back. If you set all the boundary blocks up from the word go, it means you won't find yourself in this like seething, passive-aggressive need to want to moan and bitch about family members that are driving you up the wall, or saying snipey, snippy little things across the Christmas table because, Uncle so-and-so once upset you 5 years ago and you haven't dealt with it. If you're prepared, if you've set those boundaries, you won't have to stop yourself. But if you have to stop yourself from saying something bad, stop yourself from saying something bad. Don't badmouth with other family members, and if you need to let off steam, speak to your partner about it, write in your journal, phone your best friend, do it in any other way, but don't bring it into the family home with the extended family. I know that's difficult. I know sometimes you just want to give the old beady eye to someone in the family that's driving you nuts, or or say something mean, but all it's going to do is upset everyone and create a very unpleasant situation.